First, I offer my unlimited obeisances in the dust of the lotus feet of my most worshipful Diksha Gurudev, Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pad, Astotra Sat Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, and the same unlimited obeisances in the dust of the lotus feet of my most worshipful Shiksha Gurudev, Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pad, Astotra Sat Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj and Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj, and to the lotus feet of Sri Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, Sri Gaur Govinda Goswami Maharaj, Sri Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj, Sri Bhakti Vaibhav Puri Goswami Maharaj, Sri Bhakti Vallabh Tirtha Goswami Maharaj, Sri Bhakti Doit Madhav Goswami Maharaj, and to our Param Gurudev, Sri Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, and all of his divine associates. It's so wonderful to be together in honoring Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance day. This morning, we first all discussed how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, first was a little philosophy, and then we zoomed into the pastimes. We discussed how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met the four Sampradaya Acharyas in Navadvip Dham, particularly in Mahatpur and Rudradvip, or Modajumadvip and Rudradvip, and how much all the four Sampradaya Acharyas, although they appear to be teaching something different, they're all getting their instructions from Mahaprabhu, what to teach, because all living entities have different propensities and inclinations by nature. So for everyone, there's four Sampradayas. So Mahaprabhu instructed them how and what to preach, how to keep their ecstatic moods of Gaur Prem within their hearts and just preach their mission. He also sent Sankaracharya out, which is interesting because he's the one who told Lord Shiva to be Shankaracharya and preach Mayavad philosophy. Then he reminded Sankaracharya that that's just for people who are against Krishna, but here in Navadvip, there are only devotees, basically. And then we heard from Sri Nityananda Prabhu directly, speaking to Jiva Goswami, or to us through Srila Jiva Goswami, and through Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took two essential principles from each of the four Sampradaya Acharyas, like, for example, worship of the deity as an absolute eternal reality, defeat of Mayavad, the worship of Radha in the mood of the gopis. What else? With some of the principles.
Rules of sannyas, is there?
I'm sorry?
Rules of sannyas, that's it.
No. Rules of sannyas, yes, but not for the Vaishnava Seva, thank you. There were two specific,
it's easy if you do
basic principles. I'm sorry?
And Madhva is Kevala Advaita Nirasa and Krishnamurti Nityajani Tahara Sevan. So that's
Defeating Mayavadis and...
knowing the Murti of Krishna to be eternal and serving him.
And then?
And then the then the from Ramanuja he took the Vaishnav Seva and the
Vaishnav Seva from Ramanuja.
Bhakti free from Gyan and Karma.
And Bhakti free from Gyan and Karma from Ramanujacharya.
And then from Vishnu Swami it was the Tidya Sarvasava, Krishna's my all in all.
Krishna's my all in all.
the Ragmarg.
and Ragmarg.
And then from Nimbadite was Ekanta Radhika Shrai and
Taking exclusive shelter of Sri Radhika
and Gopi Bhav.
and Gopi Bhav. Thank you. And then, of course, he added his marvelous Achinta Beta Beta Tattva. Everything is simultaneously one and different from the Lord.
I looked up, Vishnu Swami appeared about 800 BC.
800 BC, my goodness, that's a long time ago.
Before Shankara.
Before Shankaracharya, and Mahaprabhu appeared in dreams and sporties to all of them and told them that you're my beloved servants, keep it quiet about who I am. Automatically after my appearance, everything will be automatically revealed to the world. And you will appear in my pastimes to observe them. So then we started discussing Lord Chaitanya's personal birth, babyhood, and youth pastimes. We discussed how, regarding his birth, we didn't discuss that at length because just 10 minutes before the Abhishek, when we'll all be singing this kirtan, Nadiya Udaya Giri, about the big festivities in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance moment, we'll be all reading this together and then knowing for what we're singing. Then we discussed his baby pastimes, how sometimes he'd be lying on his back and then turning, this is all from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, lying on his back and then turning over. His parents were able to see his beautiful soles with all the marks on it. Then when he started crawling and his footprints and walking a drop, his footprints got all over the house. And so Mother Sachi first she thought that, well, it's because we worship Shalagram Shila, and maybe he just took the form of Krishna and started walking around in our house. How wonderful. And she and her husband were marveling. But then they saw those same footprints on their son, on their baby son. So then they were amazed, like, what does this all mean? So they called for her father, Nilamba Chakravarti, who was a great astrologer, and he read the birth chart of little Nimai, that he's going to deliver the whole world. He has all the symptoms, 32 bodily features. 5 features that are very fine, 5 features that are very large, 3 features that are very grave, 5 features that are very broad, and this little baby has all of them. So he has all the characteristics of Narayan. And he will deliver the world, maintain the world. How? By giving love of God. And therefore his name will be Visvambar, the maintainer and protector of the universe. Then Mahaprabhu started growing a little older, and he started fighting with the other kids, and he would go to the other houses of the kids and steal all their food, cooked food, and he would slap around the children, punch them, and they would all go and complain to Mother Sachi. And so you can see that he's annexing his Krishna Lila, how Krishna would do the same thing. And then when Mahaprabhu was chastised by his mother subsequently, he just broke all the pots in the house. And sometimes then when he grew up a little bit and he wanted to go to school. So he started going to school, But then his mother, she got a little apprehensive because she remembered that after her other son's education, that is Visvarup, he knew so much about the temporality of the world that he got up and left and took sannyas. And she didn't want this son to have the same end. So she took him out of school. And then what happened is, she gave him some koi sweets, delicious. It's popped rice with gur and other sweetmeats. And then she left the room, and then she came back, and she saw that instead of eating the sweetmeats, he was eating earth. Who does that remind you of? So, and she said, what? I gave you the sweetmeats, they're so delicious, and you're eating this earth, why? So he started speaking Mayavad philosophy. Well, what's the difference? Everything is a transformation of earth anyway. This body is a transformation of earth. The food is a transformation of the earth, because it's from grains, which comes from the earth. Rice, if you're in Bengali, you know that it comes from the earth. It's all over the place. And so what's the difference? So she said, well, there is a big difference, because let's take an earthen pot. Earth turned into a pot, then you can put water in it and happily drink that. But if it's just plain old earth and you put water in it, the earth will soak up the water and you won't get any water. So why are you speaking like this? So then he said, well, what do you expect? I'm not in school. How can I know anything? And then the neighbors, they were also complaining, why don't you just send him to school? Even though she explained why, still they said send him to school. So first she said, I'd rather he be ignorant and stay home than get smart and take sannyas. But then she could understand it's better to send him to school. And then he was, as he grew up, he was sitting on some old pots. Old pots means clay pots. And they were already eaten out of and cooked out of, so they were all discarded on a big pile. And he was sitting on the whole thing. And she said, why are you sitting on these discarded, soiled jute pots? So now go back and bathe in the Ganges again, and then come back and don't sit there anymore. So then he explained what? Does anybody remember? Oh, that was when he said, how can I know?
Yes, he said.
No, he convinced her.
No, he said, I am if I don't get education, if I'm a literate Brahmin, how can I discriminate
Between what's pure and what's not pure. Thank you. Yes. So then he grew up a little older, and he was walking by the Ganges, and all of a sudden he saw this maiden who, before that, he would always bother the girls who were worshipping the demigods like Durga and Shiva to get a good husband. So he would come right in their midst, sit right next to them, and say, look, I'm the husband of Durga. These are all my maidservants. Even Lord Shiva is my servant. So better if you worship me, and I'll make sure you get a good husband. So they didn't believe him, and they just, like the gopis wouldn't give Krishna what he wanted. And so he just started grabbing everything and taking it. He put the garland around his neck. He put the sandalwood that was meant for the Shiva Linga all over his body, and they looked angry, although actually they were very pleased because he's so gorgeous and so adorable, and chanting. So, but they appeared angry. So he said, "Look, if you don't let me have this, then I'm going to curse you that you'll get old husbands who already have 4 co-wives, and they'll be mean. So they were scared, well, maybe he has some mystic powers. So they gave him everything. And then when he was on the bank of the Ganges years later, or sometime later, he saw this beautiful maiden also who came there and to worship the demigods. Their eyes met. They tried to be shy and not let each other know, but they loved each other because she is Rukmini and Janaki, the consort of Lord Ram. So, how did they happen to turn into husband and wife then?
Was arranged by one Brahmin.
Huh?
One Brahmin arranged the village.
Oh, one Brahmana
The village arranged.
in the village arranged. He said, I will pay for everything.
Exactly.
But I mean, who decided? That was when Mother Sachi?
Vasachi?
Yeah, because this same Lakshmi, she would see Sachi Devi every day at the Ganga. She would offer her obeisances, and Sachi Devi was so pleased with her all good qualities, that she sent her messenger to her messenger to Lakshmi's father, Balabacharya, and asked about, yes, Adwaita.
According to what I understood, at that time, there was marriage maker.
Oh,
so
thank
she
you.
asked him to intervene and make arrangements for it.
Oh, so it was a marriage maker she sent to Lakshmi's father's house, and they were overjoyed by the whole thing. And so then this rich Brahmana said, I'll pay for everything.
As a matter of fact, I remember now. Actually, the marriage maker knocked at her door and suggested her to that Nimai was in a good age for marriage, so she declined the idea. Then, when he was leaving her home, he met Mahaprabhu. He met Nimai, and Nimai asked, "What are you doing?" "Oh, I just came to pay a visit to your mother," and mentioned the reason. So then, when Nimai approached Sachi Devi, he asked, "Why did you deny? Why did you decline?" So she understood that he wanted.
I see. So then she sent him
She said
to her father, and her father loved it. And then the rich Brahmana offered to pay, and then it happened. Okay, so I think that was all that we got up to. And so now I'll ask if anybody would like to share some pastimes of Mahaprabhu. Nima, yes?
Just one little thing. According to Chaitanya Bhagavatam, who took Nimai from school was not her.
Not her.
Because Jagannath Vishnu was still present, and he was a decision maker. So he had a dream, and in his dream he saw Nimai leaving home. So he was very frightened. And then, out of concern, he took him out of school. And
So Adwaita is adding that it wasn't only her, it was especially her husband Jagannath Mishra, who had a dream that Visvarup was leading Nimai away for taking sannyas, and then they became very afraid. Yes?
well, I don't remember Vishvarup being present in his dream, but
Well, that's the painting that we did from the Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Vishwarup, after you left.
Please take the mic. Can you turn that? Can you turn
Anybody
it?
remember how long after I think Vishwarup left home that Jagannath Mishra left the world? It was not so long after. Sachi Mata, seeing this circumstance, as Nimai became older, she became afraid that like Vishwarupa left home, like Didi was saying, that he would also have the tendency to go away. because also he had the association of Advaita Acharya, because she used to send him to call lunch for Vishwarup. So she thought also the influence of Advaita Acharya, he's also becoming very learned, so forth, so on. In fact, that became part of the impetus for her later to give a critique of Advaita Acharya. Even though later on he had more association, but she said, my one son is gone, and even I used to send Nimai there. When she would send Nimai there, he would not come back so early because he would go in and everybody would be speaking Srimad Bhagavatam. He would try to wait until the Advaita Acharya was finished speaking, whoever was speaking. In the meantime, everybody's eyes would be fixed on him. So this whole thing would go on where they would be speaking, they'd be staring at him. So he was trying to be polite to wait till they finished. Same time, they could not give up looking at him. And as they looked at him, they became more inspired in speaking Bhagavatam. So this went on and on. So Sachimata thought, partly that influence, and now he's also learning things. So if he puts two and two together, he's learning about philosophy and the association influence of Advaita. He may, like Vishwarup, one day want to leave home. Like this is what I remember. It could be. We could look in Chaitanya Bhagavat, because it could be. I'm not positive. So that's what I remember.
So would anybody like to share some pastimes? You already. Oh, Lord Chaitanya was dreaming. This is Chaitanya. This is Nimai. He's the one who's dreaming that Vishwarup is taking him away. His parents don't know yet.
Can someone tell the story of Nimai and the puppy?
Sorry?
Can someone tell the pastime of Nimai and the puppy?
Nimai and the puppy? Anyone?
Anyone remember?
It's written in Chaitanya Mangala Lochan Das Thakur, one pastime, that there was a group of Nimai and his friends, and they used to go out from time to time. And one day they went out and they saw a whole litter of puppies. And so they each decided that we should take one. We'll have one puppy. But nobody designated which puppy to take. But among the litter of puppies, there was one that was very special and nice. So even though nobody declared which puppy they would take, they all agreed that they would take one puppy. So then when it came time to choose the puppy, everybody chose the same puppy. So that time, Nimai spoke to the other boys that were there. He said, look, what we can do to be fair is we'll make arrangement that we can share this puppy. So, but then the question came, well, whose house will the puppy stay? So then Nimai gave the answer that everyone comes to my house anyway, so we better to stay at my house. And the boys argued back, no, because Jagannath Mishra, Sachimata, they're not going to allow you to have any puppy at your house. So he said, no, we'll hide together. So all the boys in Nimai, they took this puppy and they went together mutually, and they hid the puppy in a very nice place, and they were feeding it coconut pulp and bringing milk and doing so many things and playing with it, so forth and so on. So some of the boys suggested we also should have special playtime with the puppy. And then some disagreement ensued. So some of the boys then went and they complained to Mother Sachi. Oh, Nimai's bought this puppy, and this puppy's staying in your home only. And so Mother Sachi, she became very upset. See, you from the time you were young, you had these very bad habits like eating dirt, like sitting on top of dirty pots, like doing other kinds of things to spoil your Brahmin caste. So obviously we don't live in a house with dogs, all these things, right? So then Nimai became very upset. He became remorseful that he did not tell Mother Sachi, but he also became very upset. So now what will you do? Will you send this puppy away? And he began to cry and everything. So Mother Sachi, the pastime, told him, no, okay. Now you've been touching this puppy. You should go and take bath in the Ganga and come back and get prepared for dinner. Don't worry about your puppy. So Mahaprabhu, he went, he took bath, and when he came back, the puppy was gone. So Mahaprabhu, he then began to cry, what happened to my puppy? What happened to the puppy? So Mother Sachi said, this is the nature of destiny. We cannot control other living persons. So I went simply to attend to things in the kitchen, and when I came back, the puppy was completely gone. So she pacified Nimai in this way and told him that, everyone has their faith and so forth and so on. But then later on, Nimai heard a story, because he didn't reveal to the boys what had also happened to the puppy. But later on, while they were all together, some of the business along the bank of the Ganga, they saw one dog, puppy, and the dog, and they began, like with Krishna, they began to say how many amazing things were going on in Nadia by the presence of the son of Sachimata and Jagannath Mishra. They were just commenting. They weren't assessing he was Bhagavan or anything. Just saying, wow, since this child has come here, many miraculous things happen. We've never seen this before, and now we're seeing this. And then Mahaprabhu, Nimai, he became very happy. He became very pacified. So this story is written in Chaitanya Mongol of Lochan Das Thakur. There's many pastimes like that are written here. So it's not possible really to talk about the glories of Sachinanda and Gaura Hari without understanding some background of why Mahaprabhu has come in this form. So it's explained in Brahma Samhita, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anaryaja Govinda Savakarana Karanam. Krishna himself is Satchit Ananda Vigraha. It means everything Krishna needs to be happy, to be satisfied, for everything for his existence is self-contained. He doesn't need anything or anyone. So because he is self-contained, the title Atmaram is specifically given to Krishna. He's Atmaramita. But in the Skanda Purana, there's a very secret definition given for the word Atmaram. Atmaramastu Rarika Tasharamana Evaso Atmarama Siti Prokta Muni Bir Biyaveri Bir. So Muni Bir means plural, Munis. They have a confidential understanding as well as the Sastra. There's a confidential meaning given to the word Atmaram. What is that? That Krishna's Atmaram because Srimati Radhika is always doing Ramana or playing in his heart. For this reason, Krishna is called Atmaram. So, Krishna by his very nature and by the very nature of Ananda, which is not static, just like Ananda Buddhi Vardhanam. Ananda is always expanding. So, Krishna's Ananda is not something that's static. So when Krishna's Ananda begins to transform in various ways to give him happiness, one way it transforms is to manifest itself. This is called becoming mort. There's mort and amort. Not like the Spanish for everything. Mort means death. So not like that. Muerte. Right? So not like that. But mort and amort. So like the morti, like we have our deities, and they're called mortis. Right? So Radhika, when she is mort, it means her form is manifest. And when she's amort, it means she's playing in the heart of Krishna. So in Vrindavan, you see both things, right? In the deity of Radha Govinda Dev, Radhika is mort. In the deity of Radha Raman, amort. But can we say Radhika is not there in Radha Raman? No. So this is mort and amort. So this is the proof that Krishna is Atmaramata, and he has a feature where his happiness becomes mort. That is called Pararamata. It means happiness derived, para means others. So it means when he's deriving happiness from others. So when Krishna becomes Pararamata, in order to experience happiness like that, he manifests unlimited leelas through various incarnations in order to taste that kind of happiness in association with others, meaning his devotees. Whenever Krishna comes to the world, he comes to the world primarily to taste happiness with his devotees. So, like in Bhagavad Gita, it says, Paritranaya, in 10th canto Srimad Bhagavatam, Anugrahaya Bhaktanam, right? So everything else is a byproduct. Krishna's main reason for expanding everything is so that he can have enjoyment with his devotees. This enjoyment is an expansion of Radhika's Ladini Shakti. You understand? If no one has Swarup Shakti or Ladini Shakti, can Krishna enjoy that thing? No. 4th canto of Adi Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita mentions, Radhika is the only source of Krishna's happiness. So it doesn't mean here Radhika alone, because then how will you explain coward boys? Maharaj Nanda, Yashoda, the Dham, everything? It means unless they are vested with the power of Ladini Shakti, which is Radhika, they cannot give pleasure to Krishna. Right? So when Krishna is enjoying in this mood of Pararamata, it takes unlimited varieties. And therefore all the various incarnations, all the way from excuse me, from Matyadev all the way up to Krishna Lila, so many varieties of enjoyment are there. The fulfillment of all kinds of varieties of enjoyment through all kinds of pastimes find their culmination in what Lila? Ras Lila. Right? All the different pastimes contain rasa. Rasa means the elements of rasa. I'm not giving that a whole different class speaking of that. But ras, long A in Sanskrit, of Ras Lila means when Krishna does aswadan of all kinds of rasa in one pastime, it's called Ras Lila. So all the different elements of Krishna's enjoyment manifest in this Lila. Is there any praman for this? You could say that, but is there any proof? Yes, in Ramananda Samvad, Samyak Sarvasuna Krishnera Ras Lila. Ramananda Roy told that the essence of all Krishna's pastimes that give him happiness, Ras Lila is the pinnacle. And who is the Shrinkala? Means the binding thread of that Rasa Lila? Srimati Radhika herself. So Krishna's Lila is called, Krishna, when he's doing Krishna's Lila, he is called Lila Purushottam. It means that at this time, he is the master of all kinds of various Leelas. Because all the Leelas, like I just mentioned, come together in Braj Lila. Right? So now Krishna is tasting so many things. But in that Braj Lila, there is 3 things he cannot taste. He mentions himself in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Purva Vraje Vilase Tin Abilase. That even after Braja Lila was complete, Krishna was left with 3 Abilas. What are those 3 Abilas?
Say the verse.
So, the reason he entered the Sachigarbha Sindhu Harindu means he entered the ocean of the womb of Sachi Devi was because he wanted to taste 3 things which he could not taste even in the pinnacle of all kinds of Leela, which is Braja Leela. The pinnacle of Braja Leela is Rasa Leela. So those 3 things were, what is my Madhuri? Krishna has 4 kinds of special Madhuri. Venu Madhuri, Rupa Madhuri, Leela Madhuri, Prem Parikar Madhuri. Means his special loving relationship with devotees, his extraordinary flute playing, the beauty of his roop, his form. His form is described, Lavanya Saram, Asamudvam. It means that Lavanya Saram means, beauty is like a description of something, right? So now you've identified the thing, and it's called beauty. The essence of that thing is called the Lavanya Saram. You understand? So now you've identified what is beauty? He's the essence of it. So whatever beauty, even subjectively, we see, actually that's a manifestation of Krishna. When we see it under illusion of enjoying it, that's our issue. But the essence of what is beauty is Lavanya Saram Asamudram. A beauty that cannot be excelled by anything else. So here's how you get out of the illusion. Is there any beauty in this world which cannot be excelled? Other than that, Miss Universe would be the same Miss Universe every year. Mr. Universe would be the same person every year. But next year somebody will exceed him. Right? And of course when he gets older and the six-packs turn into a K, right? And the hair turns bald, right? Then he's no longer that same Mr. Universe from that time, right? So nobody's beauty in this world is the essence of beauty because it transforms. And therefore, asamudva, this phrase asamudva means that nobody can equal or exceed it. No, because in this world, everybody's beauty can be exceeded. Of course, when you look in the mirror at yourself, you don't think so. But objectively speaking, everybody's beauty can be exceeded. But that beauty, which is the essence of all beauty, Lavanya Saram, Asamudvam, which has no equal to or anybody can exceed, that is called Krishna. So Krishna's roop is so beautiful. So he's wondering, Radhika, among all who know me, knows me best, how does she taste? What is her experience of this roop? Even in Chaitanya Charitamrita it's written, Apara Kalita Chas Chamatkarakari. Krishna is passing one pillar in Dwarka, a crystal pillar. And he looks in that pillar and he sees his own reflection. And he becomes amazed.
The word chamatkar means amazed. So he becomes chamatkarakari. He becomes amazed. How beautiful is that? Then he desires to enjoy his own form. By the way, this verse is also one seed of the reason he becomes Mahaprabhu. Krishna himself desires, I want to enjoy my own form. But he doesn't know how to do it. So we're getting there. So now also Krishna's flute playing. When Krishna plays his flute, what is the sound that it makes? Jagu kalam bamadrisam manoharam. It's written there in 10th canto Srimad Bhagavatam, 29th chapter, in the description of Ras Leela. So this Jagu kalam bamadrisam manoharam, long story short, not explaining all the Sanskrit and everything, is the beach clean. You understand? That is what we hear and what we digest as a beach. But what is that desire? Because clean means the desire beach. That's what the word clean means. It's a desire beach. Krishna's desire is for what? It's also written in Bhagavatam. His desire is to dance ras. But who does he want to dance ras with? Therefore, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says when Krishna plays his flute, only one name comes out. Everybody else simply hears it, and they hear a calling, but the only name Krishna is called is Radhika. Everybody else just shows up. Understand? It's true. Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote himself directly that he's playing the flute and he's only the name of Radhika he's called. You understand? So Krishna wants to know when Radhika hears this flute song of mine, which is so amazing. What is that verse? Iti venu ravan rajam sava bhuta manoharam. When I play this flute, the whole world becomes bewildered. But Radhika, what does she experience? Rup madhuri, venu madhuri. Lila madhuri. There are so many wonderful pastimes. How Radhika's tasting these pastimes? Like at Prem Sarovar, like doing Rasa Lila, like doing Noka Lila, means both pastimes. Jal Keli, playing. All of the pastimes, even like Don Keli, when Krishna is begging tax from them. How is Radhika experiencing all these things? And Prem Parikar Madhuri, she's not also alone, but all of her associates, Sakis, Manjaris, everything, also associating with her. How are they experiencing it through her? So Krishna wanted to know how she's experiencing his Madhuri. What is the Anubhav that takes place in her because of that? And more than that, what does the Shokam Chasha means? What kind of ecstatic mood does she experience? Because Radhika has an ecstatic mood that nobody else experiences. What mood is that? Madhanak, very special. So many, even the queens of Dwarka can experience Mahabhav. Understand? But only Radhika can experience Madhanakya Mahabhav. Madhanakya Mahabhav is an exclusive thing where, in the deepest form of separation from someone, you experience the greatest form of meeting. Can anybody go for that? Your husband or your wife will go away for so long, you say, "Oh, stay there. Because I'm experiencing you more while you're gone." Because what will happen is somebody will send you divorce papers because everything's nonsense. Yeah, devotee will say, "Oh, I was just being very inspired. I'm reading Bhagavatam. Please stay where you are. Don't come home." Not like that. But in Madhanakya Mahabhav, this is Ujjwali Lamani explains this thing clearly. That in the separation, Radhika experiences Krishna most deeply and without any anxiety. If Radhika will experience associating with Krishna in any leelas in Braj, what anxiety is always present? When he will leave, can Krishna just say, "We'll stay together 24 hours, 365? You cannot. Because there is no relationship they have which allows that. They're not husband and wife. They're not brother and sister. There's no relationship under which they can stay together. So anytime they meet, there's a natural fear of impending separation. No. There's a natural fear of impending separation. So, Krishna realizing this is why he left Braj. I'm not getting into that whole other story. This is why Krishna stays away. Not only stays away, but he stays away at such a far distance, going all the way to Dwarka. From Vrindavan to Dwarka is not an easy thing. I went once. Very far, high northwestern India. To Madhav, very far away. Right? So far away that you notice when Madhavinda Puri was reciting the verse of Radhika, she never acknowledged that Krishna was in Dwarka. What was the verse? Ayi Dina Dayadra Nata. Mathura Nata. They refused to accept it. He even left to go to Dwarka. They kept thinking, at least he's close by in Mathura. But even that they could not digest. When they saw him in Kurukshetra, oh, now you're like a Mathura, Vasi king, everything. I'm not getting into that different explanation. So now, Krishna was wondering, how can I experience these three things related to Radhika? Moreover, if I experience them, how can I witness my own experience of these things? So, during the Mosala Lila, does everybody know or not know what Mosala Lila is?
Yeah.
If you do not know, just say it. So, Mosala Lila means when Krishna's pastimes are finished and all of the Yadu dynasty are destroyed and everything, and Krishna decides to go back and end his Lila here. That pastime is called Mosala Lila. Right? Because of the earth. One, kill those demons who were blessed by rishis or sadhus to come to Braj. Trinavarta, Agasur, all, if you read their backstory in Garga Samhita, they'd all been cursed and then blessed by one sadhu. Next thing, Jarasandha and all the demons outside of Braj. Second one. Third one, all the kings who were opposed. Duryodhan and clan. After that, what was the last burden of the earth? Krishna's own family. All these demigods who had descended into the family. They would also constitute a burden to the earth. Right? Could you imagine right now? If somebody said, right now even, people say, I'm coming in the line of a particular associate Mahaprabhu. Could you imagine? Yeah, I'm directly in Krishna's family. You understand? You understand? Yeah, my family, look, I checked, what is that company? Ancestry.com. I'm directly related to Krishna Bhagavan. You understand? And even here people now declare, yes, I'm directly manifest from Krishna. So what to speak? Right? So to remove that burden, Krishna performed Mosala Lila.
The burden of what?
The last burden to the earth.
I know, but why was it a burden?
Because they were so powerful. The Vishnu dynasty was so powerful. If they had left and they were all directly family members of Krishna, and Krishna was accepted by them as Supreme Personality of Godhead, how would they be ruling the earth?
The military-industrial
Complex. This is the seed of the military-industrial complex.
Wow. How would they be ruling?
Because they are so powerful and they directly related to Krishna, then in the course of time, so the way to figure that out, because we're thinking in this context, they're the family of Krishna, how could they be a burden?
Mm-hmm.
That family of Krishna, how could they get drunk and fight?
Mm-hmm.
If they did that, then
If you can get drunk, if you can get into an argument over who was best at the battle, get drunk and start fighting and killing each other, would you think they may be a burden to the earth if Krishna wasn't here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably. So therefore, Krishna knowing that, because there were Devatas there, not only Nitya Siddha devotees. No Nitya Siddha devotee died in Mosala Lila. Not one. All Nitya Siddha Parikars remained in Dwarka or Braj. Only demigods were present there. You read the commentary of Acharyas.
Say that one more time.
Only the demigods who had descended into the Vishnu dynasty were killed in Mosala Lila. No Nitya Parikars. All Nitya Parikars stayed in Dwarka. And when Dwarka goes into the sea, the unmanifest form of Dwarka is still there. They simply enter that place, just like the eternal form of Braj is manifest. Right, for the Brijavasis.
So name one that was in Dwarka, one personality.
All the Mahishis, all the queens.
Okay.
Daruka. Oh.
no, I thought the Mahishis got kidnapped, but
The Mahishis get kidnapped, right? In that one form, they get to enjoy the experience of now getting the association of gopis. But Acharya said another form, because always the separation has to be there. This was the instruction to Rupa Goswami Pad in Vidabdha Madhava and Lalit Madhava. Don't put them together. So even though Satyabhama is who? Who is Satyabhama? Radhika. Right? Rukmini is Chandravali. But for the sake of Ras, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told, and Satyabhama herself appeared in Rupa Goswami said, don't put them together though. Keep the Ras Vichar distinct between them. So, those gopis were kidnapped. And it doesn't mean Satyabhama and so forth. They were not kidnapped. They went back to their eternal positions. Right? 16,108, they were the ones who were kidnapped, if my memory is serving me correctly. I have to look again. I don't want to misquote. But I think it's among the 16,000 that were kidnapped by Banaswara.
which, okay, so that 16,108 doesn't include Rukmini,
No.
Satyabhama, I guess.
No.
It was 16,100.
Yes, he got 100, yes.
And then the
8 of those queens.
8 were the
Queens. So now, Krishna, after doing most Salalila, Krishna is sitting by himself. Even Baladev himself is gone back to the eternal abode. Krishna's sitting under one pipal tree, and he has his leg crossed. Krishna's sitting at that time and he's contemplating something. Right? What is he thinking?
Three things he didn't taste.
What else would you be thinking? So Krishna by code revealed in Bhagavad Gita, Yam yam smapi smarambhavam tajayate ante kalevaram. Whatever you're thinking of at the time that you're giving up everything, that state you will obtain. So you don't think he practiced what he preached? You understand? So what would he be thinking sitting under that pipal tree? Absorbed. What was he absorbed in even while he was in the battle of Kurukshetra? Huh? What is broad? He's speaking in code. So now all of this has gone on. Finally, it's all over with. So he thought, okay, I'll build a retirement community. This is all done. Yeah. He's thinking about how can I taste the mood of Radhika? And secondly, how will I witness it? And in that thought, how will I fulfill my promise to Narada Muni to manifest the form that he saw outside of the apartment of Rohini Ma? What form did Narada Muni see? He saw the forms of Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra. You understand? Outside the apartment of Rohini, when she was telling Braj Katha to the queens of Dwarka. So Narada Muni said, oh, you should manifest this form for the world. Krishna's so slick. He inspired Narada Muni to give this blessing to the world. Why? Because it also ensured that when he comes to taste the mood of Radhika, knowing he would be absorbed in her mood, how will he be able to witness it? Because if you read Srimad Bhagavatam, there's no place where the ecstasies of Radhika are mentioned. Is it written in Srimad Bhagavatam anywhere? What happens when Radha and Krishna have Vilas? Kam Krita Vilas. Is it written anywhere? Only poets in their own, like Gita Govinda, other things, they've written in Kavya, in poetry. But has any direct declaration been given in Bhagavatam? Nowhere. So, another thing Krishna wanted to know, I want to see the Anubhavs of Radhika. How will I see them? So two things happen as a result of these desires that Krishna maintained sitting under that pipal tree. One is when his next Leela, the sequel Leela comes, which is predicted in Bhagavatam, Nama Sankirtaniyasa, Sarva Papa Pranasanam. The very last verse of Bhagavatam predicts this next Leela. And also Vyasadeva said, oh, I will not miss it for the world. Therefore, Vrindavan Das Thakur, he came and wrote Chaitanya Bhagavat. So what Krishna was thinking at that time manifested. He took one form as Rasaraj Mahabhav. That means himself, but endowed with the moods of Radhika that he could taste them. But once having come in contact with the moods of Radhika, can you remember who you are? Could Mahaprabhu ever remember I'm Krishna? And even when people would try to tell him, what would he do? Cover his ears. Because he was absorbed in tasting the mood of Radhika. So one, he got the form of Mahaprabhu to taste the mood of Radhika. But how will he witness it? When is Radhika's mood the most high? When there's sudur pravas. It means when there's separation at a great distance for a long time. And the resultant sambhog that takes place from that is called samriddhiman sambhog. Where does that happen? At Kurukshetra. What is Mahaprabhu's Kurukshetra Leela?
Jagannath.
Jagannath. Rath Yatra. So now how does Krishna see himself tasting the moods? In the wide eyes of Jagannath. So Krishna fulfilled both these eyes. He got to taste the moods of Radhika being absorbed, and he got to witness it himself in the mood of Jagannath. You understand? So this is Mahaprabhu's reasons for coming. Very quickly, on the night that Mahaprabhu decided to appear, a very secret thing took place. We'll wait till later, as Didi said, to narrate the actual birth, but only the surroundings of the birth I'm speaking now. One is that Mahaprabhu waited to appear when the moon had reached its Purnima in 16 kalas. The moon goes in 16 phases. You understand? 16 kalas it's called. Right? Krishna himself appears on an Astami. Radhika appears on an Astami. Half and half. When Mahaprabhu comes, because they're combined together, it is now Purnima. All 16 colors of the moon are present at the same time. You understand? Now, the moon also begins to tell, for those who can understand it, the narration of the beauty of what's happening. How will the beauty know the secrets? Excuse me. How will the moon know anything about the beauty of Radha and Krishna's pastime? How will Chandradev know anything about that?
He saw them at Chandra Sarovar.
He saw Chandra Sarovar, but where else did he see for a long time? At the Ras Leela.
Well, that's the place at Chandra Sarovar.
Oh, no, Chandra Sarovar.
He stopped there to see.
He stopped to see. Also did Seva, right? Vanam cha tat kolma gobir ranjitam, right? That the moon itself stayed there for a night of Brahma, rendering service by shining the rays of its gentle rays in different ways to enhance their pastimes. If Radha and Krishna were dancing in a large circle, the moon would become very bright, and therefore the sandy bank would begin to shine very beautifully. If Radha and Krishna entered any kunj, then Chandradev would shine his light in such a way it reflected through the things. We all have this experience, like in a cheapened way, right? When you invite some young lady over and you cut the little blue dim the lights and all these things, right? This is a mundane version, right? Chandradev was serving to Radha and Krishna like this, making beautiful lighting here and there in all different places. So Chandradev knows his history. Now Chandradev saw that very Rasaraj and Mahabhav had come together in one form and had taken birth and was so incredibly beautiful. Chaitanya Bhagavat says that Chandradev thought, I'm in my most glorious state now. What moon could be more beautiful than the moon of when Mahaprabhu appears? What moon could be more beautiful than that? There is no full moon on Krishna Janmashtami or Radhikastami. So this is the time when the moon gets to come out and I'm all here in glory. But when the moon saw the beauty of Mahaprabhu and the actual fruition of Krishna getting the mood and color and everything of Radhika, he could not take it. Why should I even be present here? So what did he do? Eclipse. You understand? I will not dare to try to shine in front of the beauty of the appearance of Mahaprabhu. But at the same time, I want the story to be known what happened. This guy is the greatest thief. Because somehow or another, he's stolen the mood and complexion of Radhika and now has appeared here. I know Gurudev says he cannot steal. Bhaktivedanta Bhakti Maharaj also says he cannot steal. But we were on the phone conference last night and had this discussion. Why will they say that? But if you read, Raje Prasidam Navanita Choram Gopal Gananam Chadukula Choram Ridayasya Choram. That cannot be wrong. Vivamangal Thakur wrote. It can't be wrong. So what is the meaning here? The meaning is that those who are Sakis, who are Manjaris of Radhika, they will never admit it. Vivamangal Thakur is writing neutral position. Oh, he stole, and then Gaura Maharaj told the story. How? That first Radhika's heart melts in different degrees. Bhava Milan, Bhuta Milan, Bhavi Milan. I'm not explaining all this now, very long thing. But her heart melts in degrees. So Krishna arranges to give Spurti to Radhika. When Radhika's heart is fully melted, that time he could come in. So Gaura Maharaj and a whole nother Gathai explain this whole thing. So now the moon, to show that, said, yeah, just like this Rahu is always stealing nectar, the pastime of him stealing nectar. In the same way, I saw, don't think I don't know your pastime. How you stole the nectar of the mood and complexion of Srimati Radhika in the deep darkness of your pastimes while doing Ras. Because I saw. So he revealed to the world, but he did it in Sankyat, in a hint, in a hidden way. So only that devotees, they can relish like this. So Jai Sri Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai, Jai Sri Gaur Purnima Ki Jai.
We just heard a beautiful account of the 3 reasons why Krishna's 3 reasons, Krishna's 3 unfulfilled desires, which compelled him to become or manifest as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Not that it happened in any time, because Mahaprabhu is as eternal as Krishna. So would anybody else like to share any tattva or pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, otherwise, but wait, you'll need to take the mic and the TV set.
I have a question.
Yes.
Push that button up on
Just a clarification. You said, so who is, so Krishna takes birth of Mahaprabhu?
Oh, put the
Krishna
thing
takes,
on
hello?
TV.
Anyway, Krishna takes birth of Mahaprabhu. You said Krishna wanted to observe himself in the pastimes of experiencing what Srimati Radhika feels. Where is the manifestation of Krishna?
Lord
that's watching?
Jagannath.
Thank you.
During the Rath Yatra, Lord Jagannath is watching.
That's
He's
why his
also
eyes
seeing-
are so big.
That's why his eyes are so big. Plus, he sees Krishna come every day, right? And though in Navadvip Mahatmya it mentions that Shankaracharya, when he came to Navadvip, then Mahaprabhu appeared to him and told him, "Don't be here. So many devotees here, no need for your preaching here. I gave you a special benediction. You could protect bhakti by preaching to others, but don't preach here in Navadvip." So Shankaracharya had the darshan of Mahaprabhu. So what did he do? While he was traveling, absorbed in that thing, he wrote a gift for Mahaprabhu. What gift did he write for Mahaprabhu? Jagannathastakam. And there, this thing is also explained.
Thank you.
Dinabandhu, what's that? Say Gaura.
Oh,
Say
did that?
Krishna.
Jai Gaura,
say
say
Krishna,
say
say Jagannath.
Vasudeva Ghosh bole Jora Kori Hat, Jai Gaura, say Krishna.
Means Vasudev Ghosh wrote in his kirtan that that Gaur is Krishna and Jagannath.
Yes.
Thank you. So do I do Prabhu?
Prabhu was.
Oh, sorry.
Again and again, we've been coming around mentioning this Jagannath and his Rath Yatra. And it came to me, first of all, when in '66 some hotshot put a challenging question to Prabhupada Swamiji. Well, if God is unlimited, can he make us a rock so
Silent mode, please.
so heavy that which is see, it's the truth. It's for me.
For you? Let me see. No, it's not for you.
Okay. Can God make a rock so heavy he can't pick it up? Prabhupada said yes. Well, then he's not all powerful. Then he'll pick it up. So then Prabhupada expanded on that. Krishna is always expanding his energy and then measuring it, appreciating it. And then he expands it again and appreciates. And as Mukunda described, all these bhavas that come up and finally culminating in Ras Leela, all the Rasas come. All the seasons, all the 6 seasons appear at the same time in the Maharas Ras Leela. So the winter flowers, the summer flowers, the rainy season flowers, all come at the same time and tasting that. But then he expands that and is appreciating, expanding and appreciating until when this competition goes on. Loving more ecstatic back to from Radharani to Krishna, reciprocating Yejatamam Prapadyante, I reciprocate until when? Kurukshetra. Kurukshetra, this is not the battle of Kurukshetra, which is another whole thing, but this is before, during also a solar eclipse. Solar eclipse. By the way, today's shaving day. There are many stars, but I only see one moon. I spent $6 for this. Barber shop.
I'll do it for free.
There was a
Right next to you.
good one. 2 moons. Which I go.
I think Diddy's on it too. I think
Yes, you did. See?
that's 4.
3 moons. Kurukshetra. Why does that happen? There's before the battle of Kurukshetra, when the Kauravas and Pandavas and everybody still were kings and that. So before all the enmity started, they all gathered at Kurukshetra. Kurukshetra is where there are 5 lakes that were filled by another battle of Parasuram, who filled these 5 lakes with blood of killing Kshatriyas to remove the military industrial burden on the earth, and they gathered there. That's what's called Dharma Kshetra. There's many other meanings to them. And they had gathered there, and all their elephants came, and chariots came, chariots and chariots, all golden. There's a description of Mahabharata of the chariots that were so gorgeous. They would be lined with tiger skins, and their weapons also. There was a shield. There was all peacock feathers to distract the vision of the enemy. Another one had bells, all of it, little jingle bells, to distract your enemy. They're gorgeous. Maharathas, big chariots. And they come there, but the Brajavasis in Vrindavan said, Krishna's been in Dwarka now, but he's coming about halfway over to the north. Maybe we can get to see him, so let's pack up our ox carts and go, and we'll camp a little away from all those big kings and kshatriyas, and let him know that we are here. And then Krishna comes, he is told, and Subhadra leads. Subhadra leads because Krishna says, okay, we're going to go see the Brajavasis. See the Brajavasis in their camp. But you go first, because if they see a big chariot, military, it's like a tank, you know. One Maharatha could kill thousands of men, so if they see chariots coming, they'll run away. Mother Yasoda, all the Brajavasis, and Radha. So they come and meet, and they step down from rasa to rasa, from the friends and the cows and the Nanda and Yasoda and Rohini, and then Radha. Now comes that moment when Radha and Krishna are going to meet after we calculated on Boma Lila time, 85 years. Haven't seen each other because they haven't changed at all. But now they have come, and now Radharani is telling, and Krishna's first word. I quoted this song, the rock and roll song. You don't remember me, but I remember you. It was not so long ago, you broke my... That's the verse in the Bhagavad. Then I checked it out, and I wasn't going to do it, but when I looked in the Vishnu. His first word to Radharani is, you have changed. You got this crown, you got weapons, you got chariots, come back to Vrindavan. Return there and take off this armor and kingly.
You remember yourself?
Yeah.
It was a Thursday.
So this is it. Yeah. So this was that moment when Krishna says, and Krishna says, I cannot. So Radharani now is defeated. He cannot reciprocate. And that's when Sridhar Maharaj was telling me this whole thing. And this is the moment when Krishna cannot reciprocate with this. So this is a pang of inability. And Krishna weeps. And that's when Sridhar Maharaj put it this way. That's when he decides that I must become Maha. To taste these three flowers of Radharani that I cannot do in this lila, in this precaution. Hari Hari Bal. But that's how so how was Mahaprabhu born? That's how he was born. In the mind of Krishna in that moment at Kurukshetra. So then it is fulfilled in the Kurukshetra of Jagannath Puri, Rath Yatra. So when we do Rath Yatra, this is what's going on. They're finally meeting. The Nilachal temple is the glorious kingly emperor temple of Dwarka. Gundicha Mandir at the other end, and with all these ponds and gardens, is Vrindavan. And now Radharani is going to drag Krishna back to Vrindavan. That's when it is accomplished. Now my question is, so now that he's tasted all that, what are they doing now? After having tasted and having fulfilled this desire, now that the competition is now, Radharani wins, he fails to satisfy, now he's satisfied in Kurukshetra at Puri, at the Rath Yatra. Now he's satisfied, he has tasted all these three aspects of the Haisa. What are they up to now?
It looks like Mukunda Prabhu has an answer.
No?
He's already shaking his head.
Krishna never fulfills it actually. It is called
Like,
He never fulfills it completely. It is called Yatna Kori. Yatna Kori means the endeavor. So he's tasting the moods of Radhika. He's lost in trying that endeavor, but that endeavor is never ending because Krishna cannot become Radhika. Even in that Leela, he's Krishna endowed with her moods. But who's Radhika? Gadadhar Pandit is Radhika. So Krishna can never become Radhika. So he endeavors to taste her moods. And by her mercy, then he's tasting something in the Gambhira. And for the first time, like I mentioned, in Bhagavatam it's not written anywhere, but now for the first time, the sadhus, the Vaishnavas can write what happens. Because the Gambhira now is Audodhya Lila. So what you cannot see in Nikunja is now being shown in Gambhira. That Mahaprabhu is wiping his face on the wall. That Mahaprabhu is crying profusely. And Govinda is begging to Ramananda Roy and to Swarup Damodar, please, that's enough for today. It's enough for today. So now you see Mahaprabhu's body turn into a tortoise. You see him jump in the ocean thinking. So that is not written in Bhagavatam. So the Odoya Lila means it showed also the Anubhavs of Radhika for the first time we saw. We see in Bhagavatam they became mad. They were talking to a bumblebee, something. But this extreme emotion was going on inside of Radhika. But outside, she's talking to the bumblebee. They embrace a tree from time to time, or look at a cloud, but nothing like you saw with Mahaprabhu.
So the two senior godbrothers are sharing all different levels of so many angles of vision on Mahaprabhu's, Krishna's attempt to fulfill these three desires in the form of Mahaprabhu, and also different levels or different angles of vision of what moment did, what pastime made Krishna become Mahaprabhu. We've heard the end of the Mosa Lila, we've heard when Krishna couldn't fulfill the gopis' desire at Kurukshetra, that he go back to Vrindavan. Also, Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Maharaj enjoys relating this pastime many times. I just want to go and take a step back. And so both are saying, so he becomes Jagannath to not only experience Radha's Bhav, or whatever he can of it, but also to know that he's experiencing Radha's Bhav. So Srila Bharati Maharaj tells the pastime that I think you all are familiar with the verse by Srila Rupa Goswami that what nectar is there in the two syllables Krishna. When my mouth says it, then I desire thousands of mouths. When my ears hear it, then I desire millions of ears. And when it enters, that name enters, those two syllables enter the courtyard of my heart, then all my senses become inert. So she was thinking in this way, and she was in total internal consciousness, although awake. So Krishna came and he wanted to meet with her, but she wasn't aware of his presence because she was so absorbed in him internally. So then here I am, and here's my fragrance, and here's my beauty, and here's my flute, but nothing, absolutely nothing. So at that moment, he thought, what is this bhav that Radharani is experiencing internally that she can't even see me externally? So that's another pastime of why he decided. I'm going to turn the floor over to Adwaita Prabhu. Where's our TV management, Dina? TV cameras. Thank you.
I just want to clarify that point. I checked on Chaitanya Bhagavat, And indeed, Jagannath Mission was present. And it was out of concern that Nimai would follow the footsteps of his brother Vishvarup and leave home, that he decided to take Nimai from school. But regarding to the dream, it was later on. Home shaving his shika and becoming a sannyas and living in Nilachala, and everybody was happy.
Living in Alachua?
Nilachala.
Something we already did.
And everybody was happy but him. He was very morose. And he woke up and spoke with Sachidevi. Sachidevi tried to pacify him. No, our son would never leave us. But a few days later, he departed from this world. So that was it.
And then she carried on the mood of, we don't want him to go to school, so that because we just read this morning that when the other elderly ladies, when first Nimai said, well look, I'm ignorant. Why? Because you don't send me to school. How can I know anything? So then the other elderly ladies, they said to Sachimata, so look, just see, that means he needs to go to school. And then she explained why he wasn't allowed to go to school.
Well, according to Chaitanya Bhagavat, that happened by the villagers. They petitioned Jagannath Mishra to accept Nimai, to bring Nimai back to school. And that whole incident with he's seen on the contaminated pots is also part of that discussion. But she was not the one who forbade him, and she abided to her husband's.
Yeah, she just followed her husband's wish.
Yes.
Thank you.
Let's make Alachua great.
So I'm going to ask Arjun Prabhu, where are you, to share some pastimes or tattva. Where did he go?
He ran away.
He did. Would anybody else like to share in the meantime? Anybody? Priyanath Prabhu? I see. Let's call on Gurudev then. He always has something good to say, doesn't he? Okay. And he is the sponsor of this program. And he's here in Alachua, isn't he?
From 2008.
In Alachua?
Here in Alachua.
You bring it closer so that you don't really want to have the widescreen. You just want to focus in on it. When he was in Alachua in 2008, that's when he held a contest of who could explain best the reasons why Krishna became Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahalakshmi.
Which Mahalakshmi? Acha. Huh?
The next day, Gurudev, on the morning walk, he told why she won.
Why?
Huh?
She said it succinctly.
Succinctly, yeah. He said Giri Prabhu was really good, but he was reading from the book.
No, you mean Manji's mom.
So everywhere around the whole world, in every country, Srila Gurudev would spend some time speaking about Mahaprabhu's birth, babyhood, childhood, youthhood pastimes. While we're waiting, and I'll stop as soon as Gurudev appears, he was explaining in one lecture in 2002 what happened when when Nimai was a student, and after school he would go into the Ganges to take bath, and he would see the other brahmanas. They were taking bath in the Ganges for their purification. But Nimai noticed that they weren't really paying attention. Like I don't pay attention when I say my Gayatri mantra. So he wanted to purify them. So he was playing around, playing with his friends, and then he took some water from the Ganges into his mouth and he spit it all over the Brahmins. And the Brahmins became very angry. We just got clean, we're just bathing, and you're contaminating us again? So Nimai told them, what are you talking about? I'm the Supreme Lord, and the Ganges River comes from my lotus feet. How, as Vamandev, when Lord Brahma washed his lotus feet. So, for my feet it's so pure, the mouth is higher than the feet, so you'll get even more pure from my mouth. Still they complained. So then, after bathing, Nimai, he dried off and put dust and ink on his clothes so that his father would think that he just came from school and didn't take bath. Very clever, like Krishna. What's happening? His voice is there.
You might have to move.
No, that's coming from her phone. Where's the casting button?
I pressed
Oh.
I pressed it.
You may be too far away.
Is it that one? Source. Okay, cool. Okay.
Not working.
Are you close enough, Vasant, or does it from there all the time?
In the party, get over here.
Say it in the mic.
Indupati?
He's on the street.
In the part is doing the Abhishek stuff.
Oh, can I borrow his phone?
Oh, what's going on?
He's trying to connect it.
Tell him we want to cast a Gurudev video.
You know why?
If you can combine them by saying she is just continuing the desire of her husband.
You know why it's written like that too? I just realized. Because Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami said he was not going to tell everything in full.
Yes.
Because Vrindavan Das Thakur already written it.
Yes.
So he just told a part of it. Yeah.
It's working now.
Like that. So that makes sense.
Oh, Nityananda Prabhu. Oh, my dear Nityananda Prabhu, here. Oh, Hariraj Thakur, you should also be. You should go door to door, not deep, not city. And every and each house you should take some diksha, donation. What donation? Honor Krishna, Bhaja Krishna, Para Krishna, Shiksha. Only one this. Oh, you should speak Krishna, 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 Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And that you will serve Krishna, and he will come to you, he will give darshan, and you will be liberated, and you will be happy. Nothing there. anything. Don't take anything, donation or anything, only. And in the end you should tell me, oh, who is not chanting by your telling my this order, then if not doing, I will cut their hand. And they began to they get very happy and they began to go east, door to door. Now you. Bad things. He said, now,
and that way they
with Lakshmana and Sita Devi.
Sorry, I thought this was the last time before I got. Okay. Yeah, your name.
You haven't heard it that Gurudev was speaking?
I didn't know there were class. I just
Would anybody like to share any pastimes or tattva about Mahaprabhu?
Did you
Yes.
take leave because we have the conference
Yes.
in 20 minutes, basically?
Wait 1 moment.
Take the mic. Oh, you have to leave right now, or you can.
No, with 7.
You have a few moments.
7:45, right? So we have to get on by 7:45.
So you have a few moments to
Yes.
speak or not? You
Yes.
have.
Yeah, for a
Here's
question
the
or
mic.
something?
Hmm?
A question or for somebody else? Yeah,
Are you volunteering to speak?
No. I'm just
see.
begging. Yeah,
You're
begging.
begging
Yeah, permission.
Leave. Okay. Sadly, you say yes.
Unless you want to speak something? Arjun is back.
Arjuna, you already agreed.
I'm not, Didi, I'm going everywhere.
Well, just speak something quick and then go. You put it on top.
Didi's putting him in a very hot spotlight.
Yeah, we filled that last night.
Yeah. She asked me about last night, but I said, yeah, sure, I'll swing it. No, I don't think I can. But so what can we say about Mahaprabhu and that? I mean, Ananta Shres has so many mouths that he can't even finish our Krishna's pastimes. I was hearing today that he has thousands and thousands of mouths, and then they're all repeating Harikatha and never ending. So Mahaprabhu's pastimes are not different, always delivering somewhere. Mahaprabhu's pastimes are going on right now, actually. If we think about it, the extension of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, all Guru Parampara, all the way up to Srila Gurudev, and now the devotees, all the sadhus traveling around the world, preaching Mahaprabhu's mission. So we are very, very, very lucky to be in Mahaprabhu's. We can't even start to imagine how fortunate we are to be at this time, to have met our Guru Varga and to be in the pastimes of Mahaprabhu. And to repay that will be impossible, I don't think. But we can start to try. Gurudev always said bhakti is trying. Trying is bhakti. Right? Trying is bhakti. So, what is it?
To try is bhakti.
To try is bhakti. So if we can just try to contribute to Mahaprabhu's mission, because sometimes we feel like, growing up, we always feel like it was just one monopoly of Mahaprabhu's mission. But then meeting Gurudev, you can see that there's so many sadhus traveling around the world trying to push Mahaprabhu's mission to the best of their capacity. And that's what we should try to do also. Try to serve, within our own community, try to serve Mahaprabhu's mission, by, coming to the temple, maybe maybe washing a pot or cleaning the bathroom or just talking to somebody who's new or somebody who's junior to you or somebody who's on the same level. Be very friendly with them and try to connect, try to understand them what they're going through. This is actually also Mahaprabhu's mission. Of course, Mahaprabhu's mission has many different levels. There are so many different deep meanings that many our Guru Varga have explained. But also to share with other souls in this world is it's very important to receive Vasanti Devi, going to Shamprabhu, going to the prison program, and and giving this. I went twice, and it was an amazing experience to go there and try to share Mahaprabhu's message to them, and they're very happy actually when they hear something fresh, some other option other than suffering, and they become very happy. Shamprabhu can attest to that. He gets probably many letters every week. So this is also Mahaprabhu's mission, So if we can serve those Vaishnavas who are serving in that capacity, then our little grain, it will be served. Like for example, when Lord Ram was building the bridge to reach Lanka, all the animals and beasts, all the way from the smallest little ant to Hanumanji, they were all helping out to build the bridge. So we should be like that too. Mahaprabhu was very happy with every single one of them, every single living entity. So, Ramachandra. So Ramachandra is also not different from Mahaprabhu. So we should try to help out Mahaprabhu's mission, and also doing it because he's representative of Mahaprabhu. Anyways, what else can I say? There's so many other glories of Mahaprabhu, and there's so many other devotees who can glorify better than I do. Alright, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So now we have a brand new angle from are coming through. Arjuna is encouraging everyone to fulfill the reason, one of the external reasons why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came. He came for 4 reasons. And one of his external reasons is to preach Raganuga Bhakti to all fortunate souls. So he's urging that we become instruments in fulfilling that mission of Mahaprabhu to give people books, give people kitab, give people prasadam, give people speaking, anything. And also, Mahaprabhu set a very good example, because Arjuna was just speaking also about temple worship, and Mahaprabhu used to follow exactly the example of his father by worshipping Tulsi and doing the morning programs that his father taught him by example. So Arjuna is also encouraging us at home, at the temple here, to follow Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's will in all ways. Thank you, Arjuna Prabhu. Yes, please.
One thing. We were talking about Sachima and how Mahaprabhu, so many different pastimes he did that were apparently naughty. Like he would go to the neighbor's house and bother the children. Sometimes he would also smash pots in the house. Sometimes he would become so angry that Mother Sachi would become afraid and run. So Mahaprabhu was Nimai apparently performed pastimes of naughtiness that even exceeded those of Krishna. So there's a very special reason for this as well. Mother Yashoda, first, in Vatsalya Prem, in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it describes that different ingredients make up the happiness of each different rasa. So for the rasa of Vatsalya Prem, 4 things are there. Koshan Palan, Tanda Bhartsana, and Sanka Amangala. Here, to punish. Right? So, to punish, to chastise, to nourish, to protect. Sanka Amangala means like if you don't see your child for a minute, where's my baby, anxiety. So these 4 things are how Vatsalya Prem is tasted. So Nimai, especially for Mother Sachi, because unlike Mother Yashoda, for a great deal of the life of Nimai, she did not have Jagannath Misra. So he intensified those feelings, because when those feelings are intensified in Vatsalya Prem, the love of the mother becomes that much more thick and that much deeper. Also, it allowed that Sachima would be so imbued with just the direct relationship of herself and Nimai, because the only other person in the house was the servant Ishan, Thakur. So he so thickly and deeply embedded loving affection to her that she would be able to tolerate things that she would see in the future, that Mother Yashoda would never see. Mother Yashoda, one, would never see that one of her sons left to take sannyas. Rather, in Mother Yashoda's case, she got a son added to her life. Whose son? Rohini Ma. Because she made no difference between Krishna and Balaram. So she always had like 2 sons. But Mother Sachi had experienced, one of my sons left, I'm always fearing the other one will leave. Secondly, she had to experience, did Krishna ever take sannyas? He left to go to Mathura, but did he ever return to Braj? Yes, Gopal Champu says after killing Dantaraka he returned. Plus there were messages. Plus she saw him at Kurukshetra. But when Mahaprabhu left to take sannyas, could he ever come back and be nourished by Mother Sachi in that house? No. Not only that, you think Mother Sachi's heart was breaking. Could you imagine what it was like to watch Vishnupriya? That Mother Sachi had to watch Vishnupriya's daily life. So for this reason, Mahaprabhu intensified his childhood pastimes in such a way that so much love and nourishment would be there for Mother Sachi that she could chew these things in her absorption. And he told her, don't think I'm gone. Every day I come still to take prasad at your house. Everything. Right? But he encouraged, or he imbued so much of that prem because of the special condition of Mother Sachi. So Mother Sachi, her prem, in one sense, we don't make comparison. I've not heard acharyas make, so I don't like to make, that her prem is superior to Mother Yashoda's. But her position is certainly unique to Mother Yashoda's, because Nanda Maharaj was there all the time with Mother Yashoda. But Mother Sachi alone had to bear all these things. You understand? So some speciality in why Mahaprabhu intensified, especially being a Brahmin boy. For Krishna being a Vaishya, this naughtiness was natural to his environment. But for Nimai it was not. Vishwarup was never like that. In fact, while Vishwarup was present, Nimai would also keep himself in check. But when Vishwarup took sannyas, Nimai got worse, actually. But then, could you imagine, after all of that, at 24 years, with your young 12, 14-year-old wife, then you just wonder whether you decide to take sannyas now. I cannot wait another day, not one more year. Mother Sachi did not sleep that whole night. She only sat in the door. She stood for some. She did not. Mahaprabhu came to talk to her. She did not respond. He simply circumambulated her after some time, and he went and jumped in the Ganges and swam there. So what kind of pain she had to endure. And another thing is, Lakshmi Devi, who was Lakshmi Priya, she could not stand even Mahaprabhu's separation to go to East Bengal to preach. She gave up her body. So only Vishnu Priya, who's the incarnation of Bhudevi, who tolerates so many things, she could tolerate Mahaprabhu's
like
sannyas. Huh?
Like the blue earth.
Like the earth. She could tolerate. But how does she tolerate? I'm not describing, it's very pitiful.
Gurudev gave description, everybody remembers. But very sad how she tolerated. And even when Mahaprabhu came to Shantipur after taking sannyas by Nityananda Prabhu's arrangement, Sachi Mata got to go and be in the house. When Krishna saw Mother Yashoda after 90-something years at Kurukshetra, what was the first thing Krishna did with Mother Yashoda? And took breast milk. Mahaprabhu, when he saw Sachi Devi after taking sannyas, the heartbreak still so strong, it's very recent. Did he embrace Mother Sachi? Nothing. Nothing. Understand? So what is the position of Mother Sachi? We can meditate why he gave so much intensity in the things that stimulate Vatsalya Prem. Being a Brahmin boy and acting so naughty like that. Jai Sachinanda Gaura Ki Jai. Can I ask you a question? Yeah, quickly, we gotta run. We're gonna be late, both of us. Achutananda's mom?
Don't whack it. Don't whack it.
Just push
Don't
it.
hit it.
Push the button.
Bring it out.
Push the button, hold it.
Is it true? It's my perception. I just would like to confirm. During Mahaprabhu's Leela, he interacted with his expansions like the Acharya and Nityananda Prabhu in a very, very, very intimate way. Do Krishna, in Krishna Leela, had the same level of interaction with his expansion, with Balaram, for example?
Krishna with Baladev?
Baladev.
More so even. Because Advaita Acharya, I'm just thinking, Advaita Acharya is a category of associate. First of all, he's so much older than Mahaprabhu. Nityananda Prabhu as well, much older than Mahaprabhu. So though there was so much close love and affection, and Didi told so many during Advaita, Saptami, Nityananda Chaturasi, many wonderful pastimes took place there. But if Mahaprabhu's love was that deep, how you could leave Nadia and go and take? When Krishna left Braj, did Balaram go or not? Balaram went. And he made sure, among the cowherd boys, why didn't the cowherd boys go to Kurukshetra when everybody went? Only cowherd boys who went was Patrak, Ratrak, servants of Nanda Maharaj. Subal, others, they didn't go to Kurukshetra.
So what is your conclusion?
Conclusion is that Krishna certainly
Jai.
Sachinanda Gaura Ki Jai.
Jai.
Certainly he showed so much intimate affection to all of his associates there in Braj. So close affection. Actually in Gaur Leela, because Gaur Leela included associates from so many different pastimes. Murari Gupta is from Ram Leela. There are devotees there from Narsingha Leela, like Prahlad, Haridas Thakur. The four Kumaras are there. So that's why, and I don't have time to explain in detail, but this is why Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami mentioned pure devotees and an internal circle of devotees. Like Gadadhar Pandit, others like that. So another time we can discuss more. Or maybe reading here, maybe she'll read about inner devotees and other devotees. Yeah, it's close to Abhishek.
It is close. We only have 5 minutes before we're going to read this. I just did want to mention, thank you, Prabhu. I just did want to mention that there is another angle of vision, because we just heard from Akunda Prabhu that the Lord left Navadvip, he left his mother, he left his wife, he left his associates. At the same time, because Chaitanya Leela is an annex to Krishna Leela, just as Krishna never takes one step out of Vrindavan, similarly, Mahaprabhu doesn't take one step out of Navadvip. Mahaprabhu has 3 features. Somebody once asked Gurudev in Germany during the Rath Yatra Katha, they said, what aspects of Krishna does Mahaprabhu match up with? Like there's Krishna in Dwarka, Krishna in Vrindavan. So what different moods of Krishna Krishna in the mood of a Kshatriya and Dwarka. What moods of Krishna does Mahaprabhu match up with? So Gurudev said none. He matches up with the moods of Radhika. So just like Radhika in Vrindavan is Vrishabhanu Nandini Radhika, where she's always enjoying pastimes with Krishna in the Astakaliya Leela, or 24-hour-a-day pastimes. He may go out a little bit for cow herding here and there, but then they go out and meet him, don't they? And hide in the kunj, as we see in the Venugit painting. So, because Navadvip is a Veena Vrindavan, it's not different from Vrindavan, and Radharani is in her full feature. The other aspects of Radharani are part. So just like we've been hearing, Haribol Sita, just like we've been hearing in the last days of our parikrama, that all the holy places are present in Navadvip. Vaikuntha is present, Naimisharanya is present, Puskar is present. Everything is present in Navadvip. Ayodhya is present in its fullness. The Ayodhya there, in the planet of Ayodhya, that's not as full as Ayodhya in Navadvip. All these places like Vaikuntha, all the planets of Vaikuntha, they're just in one little portion of Navadvip. Then they come out as their parts. So similarly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Navadvip is Vrishabhanu, or compared with Vrishabhanu Nandini Radha. That is, Rukmini is in Radha, Lakshmis are in Radha, Sita is in Radha, Janaki is in Radha, everyone is in her, and then parts come out and perform their pastimes, right? So in Navadvip, which has all the places within it, Mahaprabhu is Vrishabhanu Nandini Radha. When he goes to Puri, where he's accepting the mood of Radha, always feeling separation when she's at Nandagaon, always feeling separation for Krishna when he goes to Mathura. And you just heard the descriptions from Mukunda Prabhu of bashing his teeth against the walls, trying to get out, and getting his face all bloody and things like that, turning into a tortoise. So those, that mood of Radharani is Biyogini Radha, feeling that separation. And so when Krishna's in Puri, in Jagannath Puri, feeling that separation in the Gambhira, he's compared with Biyogini Radha, who's included in Vrishabhanu Nandini Radha, because Krishna never takes a step out of Vrindavan. Then, when Mahaprabhu goes to Godavari and speaks such high katha with Ramananda Rai, he is San Yogini Radha. And that's when he exhibited his opulence of with Krishna's effulgence over hers, with her effulgence over his, as one form. And that form, even though Ramananda Rai saw previously Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan, so when he saw Mahaprabhu as Radha and Krishna, why did he faint? Because they were one, they weren't two. So that's Sanyogini, together. But then in Kurukshetra, they're meeting, but they're not meeting. Radharani said, I don't feel the same happiness that I feel in Braj, even though we're meeting. So come back to Braj. Similarly, at the Rath Yatra festival, Mahaprabhu is also compared with, or in the mood of, Sanyogini Radha. So everything is within Navadvip and the parts come out. Just wanted to mention that. Now I see that Mahaprabhu's bathing ceremony is just now coming. Visanti
She's in the altar.
on the altar, and she has Xerox copies.
They're on the back.
They're on the back. Can somebody give them out? We have this song that we'll all be singing during the bathing ceremony.
People have
And
to share.
what?
People have to share.
Oh, like a
Govinda
couple.
Rupini is handing them out.
And so generally we don't have the translation. We just kind of follow. So now we're going to read the translation so that when we sing during the bathing ceremony in a few minutes, we'll be able to remember what we heard. This is by Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela chapter 13, which describes very elaborately the birth pastimes of Mahaprabhu. There were demigods there, brahmanas, and they were all in ecstasy. People from all over Navadvip came, and everyone was overjoyed in a big festival, and they didn't even know why they were overjoyed. Some did, but not everybody, but they just felt overjoyed because of Mahaprabhu's birth. The full moon of Sri Gaura Hari mercifully rose over Nadia, likened to the mountain Udayagiri, from where the sun rises. As the universe was filled with the chanting of the holy name of Hari, and they thought they were in a big festival because of the full moon, Purnima, the darkness of sinful life dissipated, and the three worlds became jubilant. At that time, Sri Advaitacharya, in his house in Shantipur, stood up and began to dance, completely overjoyed. Accompanied by Sri Haridas Thakur, he roared in the exultation of kirtan. But no one knew why they were dancing. I don't know why I'm dancing, I'm just dancing. I don't know why I'm ecstatic. Seeing the lunar eclipse and laughing, Advaita Acharya and Haridas Thakur, because Advaita didn't know till many years later that Mahaprabhu is the one, the Krishna that he himself called to come and save the universe. Laughing, Advaita Acharya and Haridas Thakur quickly arrived on the bank of the Ganges. In ecstasy, they bathed. Under the pretext of eclipse, Advaita Acharya distributed abundant charity, which he's supposed to do at the time of someone's birth. Charity to the Brahmins by the strength of his mind. Upon seeing the entire universe overjoyed, overflowing with joy, Haridas Thakur's heart was struck with wonder. Through his gestures, he expressed to Advaita Acharya, "Your jubilance is delighting my heart. It appears that some special fortune is upon us." Acharya Ratna, that is Chandrasekhar, and Srivas Thakur, they were also elated at heart. Arriving at the Ganga, millions of people were there that night. They bathed in her waters. With hearts overwhelmed with joy, even atheists started chanting on that night and went to the Ganges. They didn't know why. They performed Hari Sankirtan and mentally distributed profuse amounts of charity. In this way, devotee sannyasis in various places, wherever they happened to be, intuited what had transpired. They danced in Sankirtan, their hearts overwhelmed with joy, and they distributed charity on the pretext of the eclipse. The Brahmanas, gentlemen, and their wives all came with plates filled with gifts and various presentations. Seeing the former, the newborn child, who was radiant like pure gold, they happily offered their blessings.
You want to rest? Someone else? But I'm reading direct from the CC, so it's just dressing themselves as the wives of the Brahmins.
Dramatic.
Huh?
Dramatic.
All the celestial ladies, including the wives of Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Lord Nrsingadev, King Indra, Vasistha Rishi, meaning all their wives, along with Rambha, who is a dancing girl of heaven and Apsara, came there with varieties of gifts. In the outer space, all the demigods, including the inhabitants of Gandharvaloka, Siddhaloka, Charnaloka, they offered their prayers and danced to the accompaniment of music, songs, and the beating drums. Similarly, in Navadip city, all the professional dancers, musicians, and blessers gathered together, dancing in great jubilation. No one could understand who was coming and who was going, who was dancing and who was singing, nor could they understand one another's language. Yet all unhappiness and lamentation were immediately dissipated, and people became all jubilant. Thus Jagannath Mishra was also overwhelmed with joy. Chandrasekharacharya and Srivas Thakur both came to Jagannath Mishra and drew his attention in various ways. They performed the ritualistic ceremonies prescribed at the time of birth, according to religious principles. Jagannath Mishra also gave varieties of
So
charity.
Srivas Thakur was there at his birth. Amazing.
Whatever riches Jagannath Mishra collected in the forms of gifts and presentations, and whatever he had in his house, he distributed among the Brahmins, professional singers, dancers, bhaktas, and the poor. He honored them all by giving them riches and charity. The wife of Srivas Thakur, whose name was Malini, accompanied by the wife of Chandrasekhar, Acharya Ratna, and other ladies, all came there in great happiness to worship the baby with paraphernalia such as vermilion, turmeric oil, fused rice, bananas, and coconuts. One day, shortly after Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born, Advaitacharya's wife Sita Devi, who is worshipable by the whole world, took her husband's permission and went to see that topmost child with all kinds of gifts and presentations. Is this still within the song? Is that
Yeah,
still
it's all part of it.
Oh, because I'm reading in the CC edit when it stops. Okay. She brought different kinds of golden ornaments. That's Acharya Advaita's wife, including armlets, necklaces, anklets, and bangles for the hands. There were also tiger nails set in gold, waist decorations of silk and lace, ornaments for the hands and legs, nicely printed silk and saris, and a child's garment, also made of silk. Notice she brought saris to Sachi Devi. Many other riches, including gold and silver coins, were also presented to the child. Riding in a palanquin covered with cloth and accompanied by maidservants, Sita Thakurani came to the house of Jagannath Mishra, bringing with her many auspicious... Sita Thakurani, that's Advaitacharya's wife, came to the house of Jagannath Mishra, bringing with her many auspicious articles such as fresh grass, paddy, gorochana, turmeric, kumkum, and sandalwood. All these presentations filled a large basket.
So, sunset is at 7:39, so a few more minutes and then we start Abhishek.
Okay, well, Jaldi Kurgo.
Jaldi.
When Sita Thakurani came to the house of Sachi Devi, bringing with her many kinds of eatables, dresses, and other gifts, she was astonished to see the newborn child, for she appreciated that except for a difference in color, the child was directly Krishna of Gokul himself. Seeing the transcendental bodily effulgence of the child, each of his nicely constructed limbs full of auspicious signs and resembling a form of gold, Sita Thakurani was very pleased, and because of her maternal affection, she felt as if her heart were melting. She blessed the newborn child by placing fresh grass and paddy. No, that's Durba, we were talking about that yesterday. Fresh grass and paddy on his head and saying, "May you be blessed with a long duration of life." But being afraid of ghosts and witches, she gave the child the name Nimai. Oh, so that was Sita.
Huh?
Yeah, that was Sita.
Sita gave the name.
On the day the mother and son bathed and left the maternity home, Sita Thakurani gave them all kinds of ornaments and garments, and then also honored Jagannath Mishra. Then Sita Thakurani, being honored by Mother Sachi Devi and Jagannath Mishra in return, she was greatly happy within her mind, and thus she returned home. Almost there. In this way, Mother Sachi Devi and Jagannath Mishra, having obtained a son who was the husband of the goddess of fortune, had all their desires fulfilled. Their house was always filled with riches and grains. As they saw the beloved body of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, day after day their pleasure increased. Jagannath Mishra was an ideal Vaishnav. He was peaceful, restrained in sense gratification, pure, and controlled. Therefore, he had no desire to enjoy material opulence. Whatever money came because of the influence of his transcendental son, he gave in charity to the Brahmins for the satisfaction of Vishnu. After calculating the birth moment of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by the way, everybody, right before this song starts, there's his chart in the purport. Prabhupada put it there for y'all. Leo Rising, as Priya says. Why is that? You're rising something?
He's an astrologer. He's an official astrologer.
No, I have the same rising sign as Shrimati Radhika. I get it. It's okay. Nilambar Chakravarti privately said to Jagannath Mishra that he saw all the different symptoms of a great personality in both the body and birth moment of the child. Thus he understood that in the future his child would deliver all the three worlds. In this way, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, out of his causeless mercy, made his advent in the house of Sachi Devi. Lord Chaitanya is very merciful to anyone who hears this narration of his birth, and thus such a person attains the lotus feet of the Lord. Anyone who attains a human body but does not take to the cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is baffled in his opportunity. Amrita Dhuni is a flowing river of the nectar of devotional service. If, after getting a human body, one drinks the water in a poison pit of material happiness instead of water of such a river, it would be better for him not to have lived, but to have died long ago instead.
If he's not
joining
hearing
the cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu
and hearing the glories
and bathing in the flowing river of devotional service called Amrita Dhuni.
Otherwise, he's bathing
Would have been better never to have been. Would have been better never to have been born. Sorry.
One more.
Kaviraj Goswami gives us one more verse. Taking on my head as my own property the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, Swarup Damodar, Rupa Goswami, and Raghunath Das Goswami, I, Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, have thus described the advent of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that's Adi Leela chapter 13, beginning on verse 90 something, just for your information. All right,
98 to 124. Shri Gaura Purnima ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Avirbhav Titi ki jai, Shri Nimai Pandit ki jai, Sachi Mata ki jai, Jagannath Mishra ki jai, Nityananda Rama ki jai.
So we'll start Abhishek now.
That's why it's called Abhishek.
Abhishek. Mahaprabhu's
Abhi means now shake.
A few more minutes. Let's go. So please don't leave without prasad. There's going to be lots of prasad. We cook a lot of prasad, so please don't go.
Tell them that even they can take plates after.
Yeah.
If they have to leave, they can take plates. Don't wait.
We'll try to set up the table outside if you have to, but just wait. Be patient.
Again, if devotees need to leave before the Mahaprasadam is all served out, no, don't do that. It's ready now. We want you to take some home, even if you're leaving before. Oh well.
It'll be ready soon. Okay, Sita's gonna lead us.
You didn't get the email? I didn't get.
Does everybody have a paper? Otherwise, I can send you the link.
What are we saying?
Nadia Udagiri. You're gonna sing it really high, like Krishna. Udagiri. It's gonna sound just like Kamal. It'll sound just like Kamal and Shiva combined. Good to see you. Good to see you, Rama. Hi, Hari.
Does anybody want a link to the song to see it on your phone? Everybody has a paper? Where's your phone?
You ready to rock this thing?
Yeah, do it like that. We don't have to.
Yeah, that's better. Like that. Perfect.
Yeah, start like really slow speed like that.
What's the song's name? What's the song's name?
Yeah, Gorjan Malila. Look it up however you want. Gorjan Malila, Kaviraj Goswami. Nara
Thank you.
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Haribo, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Guru गौर राधा गोविंद जू की जय श्री श्री बाबा सदगुरुदेव की जय जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री कृष्ण करे श्रीनिवास चाहता Haribo, Gaura Rasampada Bhakti Vinoda Deke Gaura Sampada Jaya Jaya Radha Krishna Jugala Milana Jaya Radha Krishna Jugala Milana Arati Karaye Lalita Risaki Gana Ambarana Mohana Rupa Chibanga Sundara Pitambara Siki Puja Chuda Manohara Lalita Marava Bame Besabanu Kanya Nilavasana Guri Rupe Gune Dhanna Nanavidhaya Lankara Kare Jalamala Harivana Vimana Varana Yujala Visakadi Saki Gana Nana Ragayai Priyanama Saki Jata Chamara Dulao Shira Rama Para Sarasi Jayase Bhakti Vinod Saki Pare Sukhe Base Bola Radhe Radhe Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Bola Radhe Radhe Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Jaya Sachinandana Jaya Gaura Hari 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 Vishnu Priya Pranadana Nariya Bihari Sati Mata Pranadana Nariya Bihari Nariya Bihari Jaya Nariya Bihari Nariya Bihari Jaya Nariya Bihari Garadhara Pranadana Nariya Bihari Nityananda Pranadana Sankirtan Bihari Nityananda Pranadana Sankirtan Bihari Gaura Hari Jaya Gaura Hari 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 Satinanga Jaya Gaura Hari Jaya Satinanga Jaya Gaura Hari Satinanga Jaya Gaura Hari Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Shri Govinda Ju ki jai. Nitya Pravishtam Vishwarastotra Shima Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Shri Gurudev ki jai. Nitya Pravishtam Vishwarastotra Shima Bhaktivedanta Van Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nitya Pravishtam Vishwarastotra Shima Bhakti Vidyam Bharati Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nitya Pravishtam Vishwarastotra Shima Bhakti Vedanta Dharikan Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nitya Pravishtam Vishwarastotra Shima Bhaktivedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Nitya Pravishtam Vishwarastotra Shima Bhakti Bhagyan Kesha Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nitya Pravishtam Vishwarastotra Shima Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Satchinanda Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. Shri Jagannath Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Shri Rupa Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Rupa Srinatha Navata Raghunatha Shri Rupa Balavata Dasaraghunath Sarvasant Prabhu ki jai. Shri Swarup Damodar Radhamani Gaura Parsavinda ki jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se Goswami Shri Kanya Prabhupada Shri Gadar Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Navadhi Mayapur Dham ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Govardhan Shri Brajamandal ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kunda Jamuna Kanda Bhakti Tulasi Devi ki jai. Srimati Vrindadevi Purnima Sri Gamai ki jai. Shri Gopeshwara Mahadeva ki jai. Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhas Sanchakra Ju ki jai. Kshetra Mandal Jagannath Puri Dham ki jai. Shri Nrsimhadev Bhagavan ki jai. Bhakta Prabhu Sri Pal Maharaj ki jai. Akarama Sri Chaitanya Mat ki jai. Shri Krishna Gaudiya Mat ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Govinda Mandir Lakshmi ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Rantarashima Bhavatin ki jai. Ananta Koti Varshavinda ki jai. Savita Vaktavinda ki jai. Gutai Go Brahmanande Hari Hari. O Shri Gaur Purnima ki jai. Shri Gaur Purnima ki jai. Shri Shri Gaur Purnima Mahotsav ki jai. Go Brahmanande Hari Hari.